At the start of this year, I was no longer waking up with morning wood anymore. And at the age of 34, that was pretty concerning for me. But I'm happy to report that now I wake up with morning wood almost every morning. And not only that, but my morning wood and my erections in general feel harder than they have in years. If you're no longer waking up with your morning wood, then in this video, I'm going to share with you the things that I changed in my life that I feel improved my erections. Hey, I'm Ryan Mack, sex coach and educator, and if you're no longer waking up with morning wood, that could be an indicator of an underlying issue. You might want to go and see your doctor about this, and this video is not to be considered medical advice, but this is just what I did and I think improved my erections overall. The first major change that I made in my life was I reintroduced meat to my diet. Now, I had been a vegetarian for 8 years leading up to the start of this year, and while that had served me fine for the first 6 years as a vegetarian, I picked up rock climbing as a sport, and I noticed over the 2 years of climbing that my fatigue got worse and worse and worse, and alongside that, I started losing my morning wood. So at the start of this year, I made the difficult decision to reintroduce meat to my diet after a friend of mine who'd previously been vegetarian suggested it, as it had helped them with a lot of their health issues as well. Now, what you choose to eat is completely up to you, and I have seen some studies that say erections improve when you move from a meat diet to a vegetarian diet, but for me and my experience, I wasn't waking up with morning wood, and I noticed once I introduced meat into my diet, within a day or two, my morning wood started coming back. The results were actually pretty quick and dramatic for me that I decided to keep this change in my life, and I now eat meat a couple of times a week, and I try to eat healthy versions of meat, so there's no McDonald's or anything like that for me. The next thing that I did at the same time was I added more protein into my diet. Now, eating meat's going to add more protein anyway, but I started consuming protein powder as well, protein bars, and just being more focused on my protein intake overall, trying to achieve 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Porn star and sex educator Sterling Cooper recommends drinking 4 raw eggs and protein powder before bed. He calls it his boner shake if you want to wake up with a massive boner the next day and if you need to perform the next day. He says the combination of the protein and cholesterol allows your body to produce testosterone and to give you raging boners. I'm not sure about the science behind all that, and I need to look into it in more detail, but I've definitely noticed since increasing my protein intake that my erections are stronger, and I've heard other porn stars talk about taking high levels of protein in order to get maximum performance out of your erections. The third thing that I really needed to do was increase my calorie intake. Now, for those of you who are potentially overweight, you probably don't want to do this if you're already consuming too many calories. But for me, I think I was under consuming calories given the amount of exercise that I was doing at the time. By focusing on eating more food and eating healthy food, I actually put on about 5 to 7 kilos in 6 months, the majority of that being muscle, not fat. I also noticed that my fatigue started to reduce, so I think my body really needed the extra calories. The fourth thing that I did was I started taking iron supplements, and I took B12 supplements as well. So as a vegetarian, my iron was extremely low. I had been anemic and needed an iron infusion, but my iron was still decreasing. So I decided to begin taking iron supplements for every day that I wasn't eating red meat, and I also got B12 injections because my B12 levels were quite low. I'm not exactly sure whether or not this improved my erections, but it was really important for me for my overall health and managing my fatigue to get my iron levels to a good point, and I'm happy to say they're now in a healthy range, and I get them tested every 3 months just to keep track of them. The fifth thing that I did was I started lifting weights and going to the gym. So I'd already been doing a lot of resistance exercise with rock climbing, but I shifted away from rock climbing towards the gym. And honestly, the more that I learn about erectile dysfunction and how to get better erections, I'm realizing that your overall cardiovascular health is one of, if not the most important things when it comes to getting good erections. So the better your cardiovascular health is going to be, the better your erections are likely to be as well. Lifting weights and doing resistance exercise can be really good for your cardiovascular health, but it can also help to produce more testosterone as well, which can help with libido and your erections. Not only that, but I started going to the sauna more regularly as well, which can again help with overall cardiovascular health. Now, the next big thing, which I think made a huge difference for me, was I started a supplement protocol specifically aimed at improving my erections. I started taking things like magnesium, zinc, and something that I think really helped me with my erections was L-citrulline. L-citrulline helps in the production of nitric oxide in the body, which helps to dilate the blood vessels, which is what you need to happen when you get an erection. I started taking these supplements months after I made the changes of introducing meat into my diet and changing my workout routine, and I definitely feel like it gave me harder erections and it was more easy for me to get erections, and the erections would stay around longer. If you want to see a full list of the current supplements that I'm taking for erectile dysfunction to help me maintain those strong, big, hard erections, then go to passionately.com/ED or click the link in the description down below, and you can go ahead and get access to that free resource. And I'm regularly updating it as I learn about new supplements and add them into my regimen. After adding in supplements, the next thing that I started to focus on was my sleep and trying to sleep better. I had been in a routine where I wasn't necessarily sleeping really well, and I started to prioritize sleep more because I personally noticed when I was tired and I wasn't getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, it would be harder for me to get erections. So it's hard to say exactly what impact this has, but from all the research that I am seeing, getting a good night's sleep not only helps with your brain health, but helps with your overall body health as well, which I'm sure helps with erections. And when I'm well rested, I'm way more confident that I'm going to be able to get an erection when I'm with someone. On top of getting good sleep, I'm also looking at ways to boost my testosterone naturally and increase my free testosterone. One thing that I'm trying at the moment is red light therapy, which has been shown in some small studies and some anecdotes to be able to boost testosterone in your body. And for this to work, you need specific red lights. So I have a red light, and you need to sit in front of it and specifically have your testicles in front of the red light. And so I'll do this for 10 to 15 minutes a few times per week. I've also added Brazil nuts into my diet, which are high in selenium, which helps with testosterone production as well. Again, for more details on the things that I'm taking to try and maximize and optimize my erections, go to passionately.com/ED or click the link in the description down below. And the last thing that I started doing, and honestly I need to be more diligent on, is pelvic floor exercises. In order to get and maintain an erection, you need to keep blood flow into the area. And by having strong pelvic floor muscles, you can more easily get blood flow into your penis and keep the blood in there so you can keep that firm, hard erection. I do both Kegels to strengthen my pelvic floor muscles and reverse Kegels to gain control of my pelvic floor muscles. And you can go ahead and check out this video where I share with you exactly how to do pelvic floor exercises to maximize your erections.